right, so for this week, the word of the week, I saw brothers been going in the spirit of choosing just different phrases or even acronyms. So I chose a phrase for my word of the week. And the phrase that I chose was delayed gratification. All right? Delayed gratification. So basically, I have a small definition here. It says delayed gratification means resisting an immediate award in order to get a bigger or better reward later. It says in simple words, it's the ability to wait patiently for something more valuable instead of taking what is available right now. More on that same definition is delayed gratification is the decision to sacrifice today's comfort, pleasure, or convenience for tomorrow's reward, purpose, or blessings. It says it's not just about waiting, it's about having enough self-control to say no to something good now because you're pursuing something greater later. All right? So now some of the precepts, I just have 3 precepts. About the shot, you get Philippians chapter 3, verse 8 in the NLT. You're going to read verse 9 and 13, and then skip to 13, 14. About the shot, Shamwa Allah, if you can give me 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 7 through 8 in the NLT. And about the shot, if you can give me Galatians chapter 5 and verse 16 in the ESV. So we're gonna start with Philippians. Go ahead.
3 and 8.
Yeah, 3 and 8. NLT.
This is the book of Philippians chapter 3 verse 8. It says, yes, everything else is worthless when compared with the infinite value of knowing Hamashiach Yahushai, my Lord. For his sake I have discarded everything else, counting it all as garbage so that I could gain Hamashiach and become one with him. I no longer count on my own righteousness through obeying the law. Rather, I became righteous through faith in Hamashiach. For the Most High's way of making us right with himself depends on faith. I want to know Hamashiach and experience the mighty power that raised him from the dead. I want to suffer with him, sharing his death so that...
That's the end of verse 9, right?
Yep.
Where you at right now? Yeah, I said verse 8. But it's like start back at verse 8 real quick.
Yep. This Philippians chapter 3 verse 8 in the NLT, it says, yes, everything else is worthless compared with the infinite value of knowing Hamashiach Yahushua, my Lord.
Right. It says everything else is worthless, man. All right. Everything else outside of this truth, all right, outside of the knowledge of Hamashiach Yahushua, all right, outside of pursuing the kingdom of heaven, really it's all worthless, man. You know, we were speaking about it today at camp, basically comparing this to the assimilation of the Matrix, right? And in the Matrix, one thing about it is that everything it wasn't real, okay? The same thing applies on this go-around, man, all right? This is not our rest, all right? This is our captivity, man. We have to remember these things, man, because this world will try to pull you in and make you comfortable, right? Make you seek after the things of this world, but we have to remember these things are worthless, man. All right, in comparison to the kingdom of heaven. Okay, jump down to verse 13 and verse 14.
Verse 13, it says, Philippians chapter 3 verse 13, no, dear brothers and sisters, I have not achieved it, but I focus on this one thing, forgetting the past and looking forward to what lies ahead.
Right, forgetting the past, all right, and looking forward to what lies ahead, man. All right, which we understand that if we continue to endure, what lies ahead for us is the light, all right, is the kingdom of heaven, okay? This is something that we cannot waver, all right, we cannot falter in, man, all right? Keep going.
I press on to reach the end of the race and receive the heavenly prize for which the Most High, through Hamashiach Yahushua, is calling us.
Right, so that's the whole end goal, man, all right, is to finish the race and receive the prize of the high calling of the Most High. All right? You got it, bro.
2 Timothy 4 and 7.
Yep.
It says, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, and I have remained faithful. And now the prize awaits me.
So this is the true gratification, all right, that we should be seeking, man. All right? The prize of the Heavenly Father, man. All right? He wasn't worried about the things of his lifetime, of receiving riches, all right, of receiving abundance in this world, okay? But him being able to make it and endure unto the end, all right, we want to be able to say these very same words, man. Okay? Go ahead.
Khan, the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will give me on the day of his return. And the prize is not just for me, but for all who eagerly look forward to his appearing.
Right. So it's for all of us, man, who seek Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai's appearing, man. All right? Who are sincere in heart. All right? Sincere in spirit. All right? And who choose ultimately to sacrifice the here and now, all right, for what's greater later. Okay? Go ahead, Doc. Got the last precept.
You say Galatians 5:17.
Yeah, in the ESV. Yep.
Con, it's Galatians 5, verse 17. It says, verse
16. It's like
16. Salak.
You got it.
Galatians 5 and 16. It says, but I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. For the desires of the flesh are against the Spirit, and the desires of the Spirit are against the flesh. For these are opposed to each other, to keep you from doing things that you want to do. But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under the law.
Yep. And that, 19. Yeah, no, that was good. That was good, bro. But essentially, one thing that we must know as well, in order to obtain or have delayed gratification, is that what? We're in a battle, right? It's our flesh against our spirit. So ultimately, what our flesh desires, we have to understand that we have to be against that, all right? Because your flesh is going to desire what? The things of the world, all right? The things of the flesh, okay? But we have to be able to have that foresight, all right, to look at the vision, all right, and the prophecies, okay, to seek the Heavenly Father's promises, man, okay? So I just got 2 quotes, and I'll end it out. One quote, it says, we must all suffer one of 2 things, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret, all right? And the last quote that I have, it says, don't sacrifice what you want most for what you want now, okay? So don't sacrifice what you want most, which is what? The kingdom of heaven, all right, for what you want right now, man, okay? So with that, Lord willing, that was edifying to you, brothers. Shalom.